Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Hescox coming back to you again. This is for my Life Science 7A class. We are in the Chapter 2, which is all about parts of cells and how they work. Some of the things we've been covering over were the differences between plant and animal cells. One of those differences is a chloroplast, which is also the warm-up question of the day. A chloroplast is a structure within a plant cell that is filled with chlorophyll and allows the plant to produce food by photosynthesis. Today we're going to move ahead and talk about some special types of cells and how some unicellular organisms do their thing and how some specialized cells do their thing. You'll have some review and we'll get to that here in a minute. Why do cells have different shapes is the title of this. When we talk about cells, you have to talk about the two types of organisms. You have a unicellular organism, such as this amoeba in the picture here, and then we have multicellular organisms like you and I and your dog. Unicellular organisms consist of a single cell. An amoeba is a single-celled protist. Parameciums, flagella, these are different ones that we saw when we did the pond water that day. An amoeba has finger-like projections called pseudopods. The word pseudo means false, and pod is foot, like a podiatrist works on your feet as a doctor. I'll show you just a quick shot of this video here where the amoeba, this is not my amoeba picture by the way, is actually using its pseudopods to capture and eat that. In multicellular organisms, you have many cells. Organisms are specialized, so each job has something to do. My job is to teach science. You have a math teacher, you have a history teacher, you have a reading teacher. Each one of them gets specialized in one thing. Some of those types of cells, now this is called a neuron. Your neuron is a nerve cell. They act like long telephone wires that run all the way from your head down to your toes, and they have to carry messages in the form of impulses from your brain to your toes and back, or your fingers or your eyes. This picture here is of muscle cells. Muscle cells are the few types of cells that can actually contract. They have myosin and actin pigments. And then we can squeeze together and become thick or loosen up, which is what causes them to move. There are actually three types of muscle cells. You have this one here, which is called striated muscle, which is like the muscles on your arms or your legs. You have the cardiac muscle, which is your heart, and then there's smooth muscle that can contract a lot of your intestines and organs made out of smooth muscle. This should show you the contraction. There it goes from thick to thin. Red blood cells are red, and they carry oxygen throughout your cells. They're round so that they can actually roll through your capillaries. They're very, very small. You notice in here that they do not have a nucleus. They actually lose their nucleus. Red blood cells are created in your bone marrow. So if you hear people that are having trouble with their bone marrow, they may often have deficits with red blood cells. White blood cells are a part of your immune system. There's different kinds, and those immune system cells, or your white blood cells, will go out and kill things that are trying to make you sick, whether it's bacteria or whether it's viruses. You can see white blood cells. Every time you get a whitehead on your zit, those are millions of white blood cells collecting there, usually fighting some type of staph infection. These pictures here are of guard cells. Guard cells protect plants from excess water loss through the stomata. This is the stomata in here, and this part out here are your guard cells. When the plant has lots of water, they fill up with water, and they open up the stomata and allow it to breathe. Now, while the transpiration is occurring, transpiration is water loss from the plant, it's okay when there's lots of water, but when it's really, really dry, these actually lose water and they close the stomata to slow down the actual amount of water loss through the leaves of the plant. There you can see it slowly closing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our lesson on different types of cells and how they are specialized for certain things. Until next time, make sure you get your reading done. The review questions will be in the Google Classroom. Be good, be safe. I'm Mr. Hescox. Have a great day.